Red Bull. What is Red Bull and what the heck is an energy drink doing owning a bunch of football teams? RB Leipzig, Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull New York, many teams have the Red Bull branded their club and across several continents, and they're not sponsors or anything like that. These are clubs that belong to Red Bull and they're part of its assets. The story of this company is certainly interesting and worth analyzing. Where do they get in the world of football and how did they get so big as to invest in almost every sport in the world? In the 1980s, Dietrich Maetrich, an Austrian entrepreneur, discovered a local drink called Creating Dying during a trip to Thailand. It was a popular energy drink among drivers and workers because it kept them awake and full of energy. Maetrich tried it and realized this could revolutionize the world. He concluded it was going to be the new coffee, but better. It woke you up, but at the same time it refreshed you, and it could be mixed with alcohol at parties. Cold in cans, something truly revolutionary. He partnered with its creator-type businessman Kale Jovija, and together they reformulated the recipe, added carbonation, and adapted it to Western states. That's how Red Bull was born, debuting in Austria in 1987. But no one was buying it. It was more expensive than other drinks, had an unconventional taste, so they bet on something different, creating a culture instead of just selling a product. Red Bull had a problem. They weren't selling anything, so to solve this, they bet on creating their own identity. They did something in marketing called guerrilla marketing. Red Bull didn't spend on traditional ads. Instead, they flooded college parties, used them in cocktails, left empty cans in the streets, and created the feeling that the drink was everywhere. The trick worked and people started associating Red Bull with energy, parties, and exclusivity. Extreme sports was the big move. Red Bull understood something key. If you associate your brand with strong emotions, your audience will always remember you. So they started sponsoring extreme sports like motocross, surfing, snowboarding, car racing, and not just that, they created their own disciplines and became owners of sports like freestyle rap or, relevant to this channel, freestyle football, where players do tricks with the ball and then judges rate them. And here are the latest world champions, in case you're curious. Many of these sports succeeded in viewership, sales, and were profitable for the company, which allowed them to further expand their business. They created their own TV channel, Red Bull TV, where you could watch all their events, and they also acquired broadcasting rights for movies and series. And in 2005, they bought a Formula 1 team, and up-and-coming competition, which further increased their margins. Most of these sports didn't generate a lot of direct profit, maybe Formula 1 did, but what they really brought was identity and culture, something that translated into sales for their main product, the Red Bull energy drink, with the famous Red Bull gives you wings. And to continue this sports investment policy, they decided to take the biggest step of all at the peak of the company, buying a club in the most important sport in the world, football. Founded in 1933, SB Austria Salzburg had its good moments but was never a European giant, until 2005 when Red Bull bought the club and completely transformed it. New name, new colors, new crest. Red Bull injected money and turned the team into a factory for young talent. The changes paid off quickly. Since 2007, they've dominated Austrian football, winning over 10 league titles and multiple domestic cups. Before Red Bull, they had only won 3 leagues, and after the purchase, they won 17. 14 of 17 since Red Bull. But the most impressive thing is their impact on world football. They discovered stars like Erling Haaland, Sadio Mane, and Dominik Szoboszlai. They've been Austria's most dominant team, the home country of the company, for 15 years and are regulars in European competitions. They have also qualified for the 2025 Club World Cup, ahead of historic clubs like Barcelona, Liverpool, or AC Milan. And in 2006, they founded their second club. In 2006, they bought a football franchise in the United States, the most important Western country, in a sport that was on the rise, a true market opportunity. And they didn't settle for buying some random team in Ohio. They bought the only team in New York, the most tourist-heavy city in the US. Since its creation, they've won 3 supporters' shields and attracted great football legends like Thierry Henry. And since the arrival of another team in the city, New York City FC, a major rivalry was created, one of the biggest in the US, alongside the rivalry between Los Angeles teams. MLS and the Austrian League are growing leagues, but not among the world's best. Red Bull wanted a team in one of the top leagues in the world. Red Bull had already bought teams in their home country of Austria and in a place where a lot of money flows, but the league is still growing, as US. But they wanted to create a global giant, so decided to enter one of the world's best leagues, and they went straight for the top 5 European leagues by buying a club in Germany. Being a club in Germany made perfect sense as it's a country very close to Austria, both culturally and historically. The issue with the German league is that clubs are very expensive, so we decided to found RB Leipzig in 2009. The club started in 5th and lowest division in Germany by buying the license of another team in that same division, SSB Markstadt. In their inaugural season, the club played in Oberliga, 5th division, and earned immediate promotion. In 2013, they were promoted to the 3rd league, and just a year later, in 2014, they were in the Bundesliga 2. 2 years later, finally, in 2016, they were promoted to the Bundesliga, after finishing 2nd in the 2nd division. In their first season, in the top tier, they surprised everyone by finishing 2nd behind Bayern Munich and qualifying for the Champions League. Since then, they have consistently competed at the top of the Bundesliga, and RB Leipzig has so far won 2 titles, the DFB Pokal, the German Cup, in 2022 and 2023, and they have also been league runner-ups and reached the UEFA Champions League semi-finals in 2020. RB Leipzig managed to cheat the Bundesliga's rules, which don't allow a single person to control a club or include company names in teams' names. They ensured that the club's voting members were all Red Bull employees, so Red Bull has full control. And since they couldn't use the name Red Bull in their club's name, they used the initials RB for Rasenball Sports, which means Launch Ball Sports in German. And they changed the crest to include 2 balls that resembles, but aren't identical to the brand's balls, justifying it by saying it represents energy and power and has nothing to do with the company. Once they had created a top global club, they wanted to expand their market by reaching different continents. They entered South America, Africa, and Asia with the goal of developing football in those regions and expanding their empire. In Africa, they target Ghana for its physical potential, in Asia, Japan for its technical potential and growing football scene, and in Brazil, a historic football country. RB Bragantino was acquired in 2019 and has since won the 2nd division in Brazil and is a regular in Brazil's top league. RB Ghana was acquired in 2008 Youth Academy, but it didn't succeed as expected due to the crisis in Ghana and was sold to Feyenoord in 2014. They plan to return to Africa and acquire a major club to boost football talent in the region. Currently, they have 5 teams in the United States, Brazil, Japan, Austria, and Germany, spread across 3 continents. Some of these clubs are very important nationally and even internationally. These are the trophies that each Red Bull club has won since its acquisition. Quite impressive, with lots of promotions and league and cup titles, with a very ascending trend in each team. I think Red Bull's next steps in football will involve acquiring big clubs in Africa and Oceania, in countries like Nigeria and Australia. The Red Bull empire is something truly impressive and unique in sports history. What do you think about this company? Do you think that they're doing good? And from a business point of view, do you think it's profitable for a company to do all of this? I'll read you in comments.